It's going to be a lot of the same. A lot of good news that starts with economic development. I mean, this is our opportunity right now to build the type of Kentucky that we have always dreamed of, and that starts with really good jobs for our people. So it's been about 3 weeks since we've had one of these, so we have a number of very quick updates and reminders of just some really good news on the economic development front that's happened over these last several weeks. I want to start today's news by highlighting a project that's creating over 500 new jobs in Bullitt County. Actually, 450 plus are already filled. Just yesterday, I joined local officials at UPS Supply Chain Solutions and their leadership to cut the ribbon on the company's new $79 million state-of-the-art Velocity facility. This, at the moment, is the most technologically advanced facility of its kind in all of UPS. The project builds on several announcements from UPS over the years, including an over $330 million investment announced in October of 2022 that across 2 locations in Jefferson and Bullitt counties is creating 435 good-paying jobs. Velocity is one of the largest and most technologically advanced distribution facilities in the industry. I want to congratulate UPS and its leadership for choosing to invest in the Commonwealth and our incredible workforce. On Tuesday, I was honored to join Vsoft Consulting, a provider of information and technology services, for the grand opening of its new Louisville headquarters. Vsoft Consulting recently moved out of a shared space into a new owned space and approximately 75 employees just in the Louisville market work there. This is a company, again, based here in Kentucky, operations all over the United States, a large number of employees in India as well. The company's leaders have a vision for the building that goes beyond Vsoft's daily work, allowing for other professional meetings and community events, as well as area nonprofits to meet and to use the space. These are some really great owners, some friends of mine, very philanthropic in their communities, and are looking forward to using this headquarters in philanthropic ways as well. A couple weeks ago, Neo Industries, a global leader in steel and aluminum manufacturing technology, announced a $12.4 million investment in the company's current operation in Ohio County that's creating 20 new positions. This increased space will allow for additional capacity needed to serve the rapidly expanding EV battery industry. Neo Industries' new investment will bring its total Kentucky employment to 50. We have 3 announcements over the last couple of weeks related to our signature bourbon industry. A couple weeks ago, Brothers Wright Distilling Company announced a $38 million investment creating 28 quality jobs in Pike County. It'll establish a new distillery there that will use a rehabilitated coal mine to age the product. Company leaders plan to construct a 12,000 square foot distillery, rickhouse, welcome center, museum, and restaurant on 20 acres, with future plans for lodging and an underground visitor experience. Jobs to be created at the operation, again, include 28 full-time positions, ranging from production and maintenance to sales and tours. Additionally, 50 construction and mine rehabilitation jobs are coming with it. The next one, Western Kentucky Distilling Company, the first official distillery in Ohio County since Prohibition, officially opened its new state-of-the-art distillery in Beaver Dam. This grand opening, which was exciting, I was at the groundbreaking for this. These are Kentuckians who came together wanting to bring this to one of their hometowns and really was a part, especially in Ohio County, at this industrial park, of a number of announcements all in a row or all in the county. The grand opening marks the completion of the company's transformative $30 million investment announced in November of 2022, creating 35 full-time jobs. Coming off a historic year for bourbon in 2022, with more investment than ever before, with more visitors to the Bourbon Trail, this is exciting, and we can't wait to see the 2023 numbers. Also last month, Whiskey House of Kentucky, a producer of contract bourbon and American whiskey, held a celebration for a new $130 million operation in Elizabethtown that'll create 100 good-paying jobs. Whiskey House's plans include 16 traditional rickhouses, each with a capacity for 41,500 barrels. Founded in 2022 by the team that started and built the Bardstown Bourbon Company, Whiskey House is designed to focus solely on large-scale, flexible, contract whiskey production. Also last month, this was a big one, I got to join local officials and Nucor Corporation's leadership for the grand opening of their $1.7 billion steel plate manufacturing mill in Meade County, what I think is the cleanest steel plant in the country with the most technological advances that we have ever seen. It's creating several hundred really good jobs. This is one of the larger investments that our Commonwealth has ever seen. And seeing Nucor's commitment to Kentucky, whether it's in Gallatin facilities, this one, or around the state, is really exciting. Nucor is North America's largest recycler and the nation's largest steel and steel products producer. In Kentucky, Nucor and its affiliates now have over 2,000 employees. That's 2,000 of our families that, because of our relationship with this company, can put food on the table and provide opportunities for their kids. Nucor Steel Brandenburg already employs 440 people, and the average annual compensation for them is more than $72,000. They are currently exceeding both the job and the pay targets that they applied for incentives for. Located along the Ohio River in Brandenburg, the new operation provides Nucor with 1.2 million tons of annual capacity for steel production. That's pretty exciting, given everything we're building right now in Kentucky, all the infrastructure work that's going on throughout the country. It means there is plenty of demand for this Nucor steel. It's going to be really exciting to see where it goes, how it might expand, what's coming in the future. Also last month, Papa John's announced the company will remain the sole owner of its Louisville campus and maintain its current office space as well as its quality control center. What was up was the potential loss of about 600 jobs that we were able to keep in Kentucky and in Jefferson County. In addition, Papa John's and One Vision, a leading national provider of marketing services, announced that One Vision has completed the acquisition of Preferred Marketing Solutions, a subsidiary of Papa John's that will, again, because of that and this agreement, stay in Kentucky and stay in Louisville. More than 550 Papa John's employees and 50 One Vision workers will remain on that campus. That makes up that 600 employee retention. This one was important. I also was proud to join local leaders and founders of the pretzel manufacturer Stellar Snacks in October to announce a $137 million investment creating 350 full-time jobs over the next 10 years in West Louisville. That makes it the single largest economic development for West Louisville in at least the last 20 years, if not more. Stellar Snacks is the first woman-owned pretzel manufacturer in the United States. It's establishing its newest and largest industrial pretzel bakery on Dixie Highway. Work on the facility begins next March, with the products expected to come off the line in September of 2024. To close out our economic development news, I want to highlight over $15.2 million that was approved for projects statewide to support the training of more than 15,500 workers. That includes the promised $10 million grant to support the training and development of 5,000 employees at the Blue Oval SK Battery Park in Glendale, with the first of the two facilities scheduled to begin operations in 2025. The grant for workforce training at Blue Oval SK aligns with the incentive package based on Ford and SK's 2021 announcement. The new grant funding will support employee training and help train workers at Blue Oval SK Battery Park in Glendale, and roughly 20 other operations, different businesses statewide, were a part of that $15.2 million. And just yesterday, Blue Oval SK opened a recruiting center in Elizabethtown. So this project is moving ahead. All these jobs are coming online, and they're taking applications right now. Announcements like these continue to prove that Kentucky is the EV battery production capital of the United States of America. But when you look at what was announced for LAP in Louisville, as well as Toyota's previous announcement, our goal is bigger. We are moving towards being the EV capital of the United States of America. That's why we're investing in EV infrastructure across the Commonwealth, including right here at the state capitol, where we just installed new chargers. They're at the top of the parking garage, so you can now charge your vehicle with that view of the Capitol Dome we're reconstructing. Team Kentucky is on a winning streak. Since the beginning of the administration, we've now announced over 905 private sector new location and expansion projects with a record $27.8 billion of new investment and much more to come. We've also been good fiscal stewards, and that good news keeps coming. Just last week, we announced general fund receipts for October 2023 exceeded $1 billion. That is the 14th straight month the general fund receipts have exceeded $1 billion. It's never been done before, certainly for that period of time. So now I want to ask the First Lady to join us to give us an exciting update about the inauguration coming on December the 12th.
All right. Good afternoon. Andy and I are really excited and very thankful to be preparing for the upcoming inauguration. Today, we are pleased to make the first inauguration-related announcement by once again announcing the inauguration poster contest, where all Kentucky children are invited to participate. For us, it's important that Kentucky kids lend their voices to the inauguration celebration. Art is a great way to have kids participate and express themselves. The poster contest celebrates the 62nd gubernatorial inauguration theme, Forward Together. This theme is really important to us, as we want to pay tribute to how Kentuckians came together and got through so many hard times over the past 4 years, and how together we moved forward and got to where we are today as we build a bright future. Kentuckians have met every challenge with love, compassion, and empathy for one another, and that is exactly how we must approach the next 4 years. One of my very favorite parts of being First Lady is having the opportunity to meet children across Kentucky. Kentucky kids are kind, intelligent, compassionate, creative, and really entertaining. I am really excited to see the creativity of our kids and how they visualize this theme, what they think we can accomplish when we move forward by working together. For children ages 6 to 17 interested in participating, the challenge is pretty simple. Imagine what Kentuckians can accomplish in the future by continuing to work together. Then draw a picture of that goal. To parents, caregivers, and teachers, we really appreciate your support in helping children get involved in this important day. Here's how the artwork should be submitted. Posters should be submitted unframed on paper no larger than 12 by 16 inches and include a completed entry form attached to the back of the poster. The entry form and a complete list of contest rules can be found at the website on the screen, kentucky.ky.gov/inauguration. All entries must be postmarked by Tuesday, December 5th, 2023, mailed to the address on the screen. The Kentucky State Capitol Attention Poster Contest Panel, 700 Capitol Avenue, Suite 112, Frankfort, Kentucky, 40601. While it will be a tough job because I know every poster is going to be amazing, I am looking forward to working with a panel of judges to review entries anonymously. We will select one winner from each age category, ages 6 to 9, 10 to 13, and 14 to 17. There will also be 2 additional overall winners for the most colorful and the most creative posters. The 5 winners and their families, along with school representatives, will be invited to the Capitol on December 12th, where we will recognize them as part of the inaugural celebration. The winning artwork will also be framed and on display in the Capitol during that time. This is such a special day for Kentucky, and it's important to make sure that our children's voices are represented. We can't wait to see what Kentucky's children think we can do when we move forward by working together. Today marks the first of several inauguration announcements. In the meantime, we invite Kentuckians to visit kentucky.gov/inauguration for information on the poster contest and to view the public inaugural day events. We also have a spot on the site where media can review the instructions for obtaining an inauguration media credential. December 12th is going to be an amazing day for our Commonwealth. We can't wait to share it with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brittany and Winnie, who people can't see, for joining us today, for making sure that everybody, especially our children, are included in the inauguration. This is a tentative schedule that is still being worked through. These are the traditional events, but time and other details are subject to change, but ought to give people a good idea of what is to come. Now that we just secured 4 more years to be able to work hard for the people of Kentucky together, we need more folks to help us on this mission. On Team Kentucky, we believe in the golden rule that says we love our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan that says we are all each other's neighbors, no exceptions. For those interested in joining Team Kentucky, you will be helping us to turn these past 4 years of economic progress into decades of prosperity for our families, to truly revolutionize or evolutionize where we are as a state. You'll also help us continue to rebuild and revitalize areas that have been through the toughest of the tough, whether those are tornadoes in the west or flooding in the east. You can be a part of that rebuilding effort with us, living out our faith and values about caring for our neighbor. We've gotten through the tough times, and we've gotten through them together. Now we're going to get to more good times, and we're going to get to those together. This is the brightest, most optimistic opportunity that I've certainly seen in my lifetime for where we can go as a state, lifting up all of our people and moving us all not right or left, but forward together. We've secured the best years in economic development in our history, creating nearly 50,000 new Kentucky jobs and a record $27.8 billion in new private sector investment. We're getting what were thought to be impossible infrastructure projects done, like the Brent Spence Companion Bridge, 4-laning the Mountain Parkway, and moving I-69 forward. Our families are receiving clean drinking water and high-speed internet access, the expansion of which over these next 4 years is going to be an incredible thing to see and to be a part of. I am excited and optimistic about what we can accomplish, and we need good people to help us do that. So today I'm inviting those who want to help Team Kentucky get more big things done for our families to visit jointeamky.ky.gov and apply for an unclassified position in our administration. On the website, we have information about state government agencies and cabinets, the benefits of executive branch state employment, and a list of on-demand jobs, which include a couple of jobs that are just coming open based on some resignations from some people that we will miss a lot. The first is the Director of Emergency Management. Jeremy Slinker has been a phenomenal director. What he has done in that position during tough times is incredible, and he did such a good job that he's going to work for FEMA this coming Monday. I believe that it's going to help the federal government in how they respond and where they respond, and the number of changes that we were able to get, especially after the flooding made, that are benefiting people nationwide, are pretty special. I want to thank him for his service. I mean, he is a non-stop worker, and I couldn't have had a better partner in addressing the challenges that we faced. On top of that, we'll be looking for a new Commissioner of Workforce Development, a new Inspector General for the Finance and Administration Cabinet. That one has been open. One person's been doing 2 jobs. A new Commissioner of the Department of Juvenile Justice. Our Commissioner submitted her resignation effective January 1st this coming year. We appreciate all of her efforts in pushing through pre-existing challenges and helping us make some of the most significant changes since the creation of DJJ. And I know it hadn't been easy for Vicki Reed to push through, but every day she's shown up and tried to do her best, and I'm grateful for that. We'll be looking for a new Executive Director of Office of Policy and Audit in the Finance Cabinet Administration, a new Executive Director for the Office of Inspector General at the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Adam Mather, after serving 4 years, is looking at other opportunities in moving his career forward. This is a really important position that does a lot of work in protecting our people. We want to thank Adam and his entire family for everything that they've done. We'll be looking for a new Executive Director of Early Child Care Advisory Council, and we'll be looking for several attorneys, especially those in leadership positions. Again, in all of these areas, We've had people that have done great jobs, and we are grateful for their service. This is the time when you see people looking, reevaluating where they want to be, where they want to go, the opportunity to keep so much experience, which you're going to see us keep a significant portion of our experience, but also add new excitement, those that want to come in at this really special time to state government. I'm grateful for the team we were able to put together these first 4 years, and I'm excited about what our team will look like moving forward. So if you want to help Team Kentucky get more big things done for our families, visit jointeamky.ky.gov and apply today. Next, we have an update on sports betting in the Commonwealth. Both mobile and retail sports wagering are now in full swing in Kentucky. If you don't believe me, watch any commercial that comes on now that the campaign is over, whether it's Kevin Hart or one of the other individuals, Jamie Foxx. I think they're on more than anybody who was running was. Kentuckians are enjoying a quality entertainment experience with fun staying right here in our state to build a better Kentucky. Since its opening, the total wagered, both retail and mobile combined, is over $447.8 million. The number represents 21.2 million wagered in person and over 426.6 million wagered through mobile devices. You want to talk about the demand for this? More than 649,000 accounts have been created with mobile applications since the launch. Now, there are some people who create multiple ones over various platforms. We shouldn't confuse that with 650,000 people, but 649,000 accounts is pretty significant. I want to thank a bipartisan effort in the legislature. I remember we were talking with the bill sponsor and others just about daily to get this one through. The Kentucky Horse Racing Commission and the sports wagering licensees in the state, we've been able to kick off quickly. We believe it's going well, and people are obviously enjoying it. So whatever team you're betting on, whether they win or lose, whether you're placing a wager in person or on your mobile phone, it is a win for Team Kentucky, and some of those dollars come back to help our people. Today, I'm also excited to announce 2 transportation projects now under contract in Eastern Kentucky that will not only make good on our promise to rebuild every life and every structure following the floods, but also create new gateways for prosperity for generations to come. The first is a nearly $500,000 project near Hazard to construct the access road to the Skyview High Ground community, where flooding survivors can safely rebuild their homes and their lives. Remember, this is the first one to get the environmental permitting other than the Thompson Branch in Letcher County. That's a small one that didn't require it. But this is the first large high ground community to get all the permitting done, which allows us access to that hundreds of millions of HUD funding. So this is the award to get the access road in, to get that construction underway. The second is a $40 million project to complete the final section of the new U.S. Highway 460 reconstruction project in Pike County. If you've ever been to Eastern Kentucky, you know that US 460 is a major route and a key part of the Appalachian Development Highway that spans across 13 states to build an economic pathway to hard-to-reach areas. Under this contract, crews will complete the roadbed from Marrowbone Bridge over KY 195 to Russell Fork Bridge near Beaver. They will also resurface all open and existing sections. The overall project will cut through the mountains from Pikeville to the Virginia state line to construct a new US 460 that is safer and faster and is going to open up Pike County and others to be able to service different parts of the country. Every time we improve infrastructure, every time we are able to improve our roadway systems, our bridges, and others, we open ourselves up to more opportunity, economic development, and prosperity. Next, I have an update on the state of wildfires across Kentucky. But first, I want to say our prayers are with those gathered at Southeast Christian Church in Crestwood for the funeral service for Sergeant Thomas Petchke Jr., who died Saturday fighting a wildfire in Goshen, Kentucky. Our hearts go out to his family, to his friends. We never want to see the loss of loved ones, especially those who put themselves on the line to keep us safe. This reminds us of how dangerous these fires can be, and for those brave firefighters who risk injury or even death to keep us safe and our homes safe. Though we still need to be vigilant, we have made good progress since I declared a state of emergency about a week ago. At that time, we had 31 active fires. that were currently being worked on, but that continued to spread. As of this morning, we're down to 14. Last week, we also had 36 contained fires, which are those that have containment lines stopping the spread, but require some level of action. As of this morning, we have 38 of those. 7 counties, Perry, Knox, Bell, Pike, Harlan, and Lawrence, have seen more than 1,000 acres burned. In all, since November 3rd, wildfires have scorched more than 31,000 acres across Kentucky. But we are trending in the right direction. What we need is rain. But remember, when you pray for rain, be very specific with everything we've already been through. And there are some in the forecast for tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Kentucky Emergency Management is working closely with the Division of Forestry, is doing an excellent job, and who responded really quickly, calling in people from other states. This is truly seeing something that could have gotten out of hand and reacting the way that Jeremy Slinker and others do and should, by making sure we have enough resources, that we don't underreact, that we appropriately bring in what is needed, and that is why we are making progress. We have more than 330 firefighters on the ground fighting these blazes, including crews from here in Kentucky, as well as from the Oregon Department of Forestry, Idaho Department of Lands, and the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. We are grateful for those partners. Assistance in various forms has also been received from the USDA Forest Service and a bunch of state agencies that I want to make sure I mention, because they're coming to help us in our time of need, and we're thankful for it. They include the Texas A&M Forest Service, the Florida Forest Service, the Oregon Department of Forestry, the Washington Department of Natural Resources, the Utah Department of Natural Resources, the Idaho Department of Lands, the Arkansas Department of Agriculture, the Virginia Department of Forestry, and the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. Now, you want to think about what we're talking about in inauguration in the next 4 years, together forward. That's exactly what these organizations and in these times of crisis or difficulty or disaster do. They come together knowing that we are one United States of America to help us protect our people. These resources, coupled with our own, have allowed us to contain these fires before they became extremely large. Let's make sure we give our firefighters help by staying vigilant and keeping safe by calling 911 immediately if wildfires threaten your property or your home. You can also help by reporting any suspected arson activity to local law enforcement or by calling the arson hotline. That is 1-800-27-ARSON. I'm now going to turn it over to our Lieutenant Governor, who has a series of updates before we come back and name our Team Kentucky All-Stars.
All right. Thank you, Governor. This is National Apprenticeship Week, and it's a time when we recognize the importance of registered apprenticeships, that model, and how it's transforming the workplace. These earn-as-you-learn career pathways are helping more Kentuckians open the door to a better life and great-paying careers. And that's why Governor Beshear recently signed a proclamation to raise awareness of our programs by making November 13th through the 17th Apprenticeship Week in Kentucky. That's truly a reason to celebrate, because we have had an increase of apprenticeships in the last year of 12%. Registered apprenticeship programs are a proven, industry-driven training model that expedites the path into good-paying jobs in diverse fields. Most folks are very aware of the trades, but we also have opportunities in hospitality, coding, culinary arts, educational services, nursing, advanced manufacturing, and so much more. So I want to encourage Kentuckians who are just entering the workforce or those who are looking for a career change to consider a registered apprenticeship program. You can visit kyworks.ky.gov to learn more about Kentucky's apprenticeship opportunities. Next, I'm proud to announce that this is also National Education Week. This nationwide event honors the dedication and hard work of educators and education support specialists, because it doesn't matter if you are the cook, the custodian, or the chemistry teacher. You are part of the village that is critical to the future of the success of our students. And as we all know, that Kentucky is in the middle of a historic economic boom. But all of that investment and job creation won't matter if we fail to make sure that we have an educated and skilled workforce that can meet this moment. You see, the future of Kentucky's economy is in our classrooms today, being led by our original job creators, our educators. And we have some of the finest educators right here in Kentucky. So join me as we celebrate everyone in our schools who are working so hard to provide everything that our students need to be successful. Next, we have an update on healthcare access in the Commonwealth. We believe that healthcare is a basic human right, and that's why 2 years ago, we relaunched Connect, our state-based health exchange. So today, first, I want to remind Kentuckians that enrollment is open for Connect right now, and the deadline to sign up is January 16th. That means if you don't have health coverage through another source, such as an employer, Medicaid, K-CHIP, Medicare, or TRICARE, then you can start enrolling in a health plan today on Connect. And if you have any questions, we have a team of people who are here that can help you at no cost. So if you need assistance or if you are ready to enroll, go to connect.ky.gov, or you can call 1-855-459-6328. So as your Lieutenant Governor and as a mom, there is nothing more important to me than making sure that every Kentuckian has the best options possible when they get sick or injured. And Governor Beshear and I pledge to continue working hard to ensure access for every single Kentuckian, which leads me to an announcement that I'm very proud of today. I'm happy to announce that Kentucky received federal approval to delay what is known as the Medicaid unwinding process for children under the age of 19. During the pandemic, certain Medicaid requirements were temporarily waived to create an easier path to get benefits at a time when many Kentuckians needed the help. Kentucky implemented continuous coverage for children in April at the start of that unwinding period. However, the child had to go through an eligibility renewal process. With today's announcement, we can now automatically extend the child's coverage for 12 months without having to go through an extra renewal process. Kentucky is the first state in the country to implement this kind of flexibility. It went into effect on October 1st and remains effective through the end of Kentucky's unwinding period, which is April of 2024. I'm so proud that Kentucky is leading the way in eliminating roadblocks to healthcare access. Because of today's announcement, more than 600,000 Kentucky children on Medicaid and the K-CHIP program will continue to have access to the healthcare coverage that they deserve. And finally, our administration has worked to combat domestic violence while also seeking justice for victims. And today we are announcing additional steps to prevent domestic violence in Kentucky in the years ahead. Our administration is awarding more than $2.2 million in grant funding to 32 organizations across Kentucky. This includes law enforcement, prosecutors, victim services, and state and local courts. They will provide resources, shelter, treatments, and counseling to victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking, regardless of age. This money is being awarded through the Federal Violence Against Women Act federal grant program. So thank you to the 32 organizations and many more throughout Kentucky who do this hard work. I know that it's emotional, difficult, and challenging, but we need you to keep it up because you are saving lives. I'm also proud to announce a new partnership between the executive I'm proud to announce a partnership between the executive, judicial, and legislative branches and the Council of State Governments to collect detailed and reliable data related to domestic violence. By enhancing our collection, the Commonwealth will be able to assist service providers to better target programming, increase funding opportunities, decrease gaps in services, enhance training for first responders, and strengthen reentry efforts so that we can further reduce recidivism. This partnership emphasizes our commitment to ensuring domestic violence survivors have access to safety, justice, and healing in Kentucky. Here in Kentucky, we have zero tolerance for acts of violent crime, and it is only by working together that we can end domestic violence and enhance the safety of every community in this Commonwealth. And with that, Governor, I'm going to turn it back over to you for the Team Kentucky All-Stars today.
All right. I want to touch just a minute again on the Medicaid unwind news. So this is an enormous process and undertaking that's going on in every state, and it's necessary because we needed to get everybody coverage during a pandemic. Thankfully, the federal government made it easy, but now wants people to go through the traditional, much more difficult process. By extending kids, first of all, our children aren't going to lose coverage. And second, it lessens the overall population that we're dealing with in the coming months, which gives us more resources to try to contact as many people as we can. As everybody in the Unwind program will qualify for one of likely 3 different forms of coverage, whether it's traditional Medicaid, whether they've aged into Medicare, or whether it's a policy that you can get on Connect. Many have actually gone into new jobs and have private insurance. But the thing we need the most to make sure the fewest people lose coverage is for you to pick up your phone and to respond to emails. Even if you've already gotten new coverage, it helps us if you will respond and let us know so that we know we can move you to a different bucket, that your coverage is already set. But this is one of the biggest challenges in an age where we should be able to reach people easier than ever. People don't pick up numbers that they don't know, don't necessarily respond to emails. So if you got coverage during the pandemic through Medicaid, please pick up your phone, answer. We want to make sure that some form of coverage continues for you. All right, Team Kentucky All-Stars. The nominations for the 2024 Grammy Awards were announced last week, and some of Kentucky's most talented artists are leading the way. First, Lawrence County's own Tyler Childers is up for 5 nominations. I got to meet Tyler in Ashland when he performed at the ARC conference. He is talented, kind, and we are lucky to have him and his wife, Sonora, representing Kentucky. Tyler's been nominated for Best Country Album, Best Americana Performance, Best Country Solo Performance, Best Country Song, and Best Music Video for his song, In Your Love. For that video, our own Poet Laureate, Silas House, was also nominated as a producer. In addition to Tyler and Silas, Chris Stapleton was nominated for 3 awards, including Best Country Solo Performance, Best Country Duo/Group Performance, and Best Country Song. He shares the Best Song nomination with Carly Pierce, another Kentuckian. Louisville Orchestra's music director Teddy Abrams was also nominated for Best Classical Instrumental Solo, and Paducah native Mickey Abraham is a cast member featured in Shucked, which is a nominee for Musical of the Year. The awards will air in February, so make sure you can tune in and cheer on these proud Kentuckians. I'm proud to name them our Team Kentucky All-Stars this week. All right, with that, we have 3 journalists here with us today and 1 on the line. We'll start with Tom Latek.
Thanks, Governor, and good afternoon to you. Jefferson County Clerk Bobby Holzfall says she and her counterparts around the state, the county clerk, not very pleased that with the Avis to Cavis conversion, the entire system that processes license plates, renewal stickers, title transfers, all that stuff, going to be shut down for 2 weeks in January. Is this something that there could be another alternative to have this done, maybe a few days at a time like they do with driver's licenses?
So my understanding is that Cavis is set to replace the outdated Avis system used primarily for vehicle and vessel-related services. Cavis will be a streamlined internal process. It's going to improve customer service and enhance overall efficiency once fully implemented. County clerks use the system to perform services like car registration, renewals, vehicle transfers, boat and car titling, and to issue license plates. The move to Cavis will not impact driver's license issuance at the driver's license regional offices. For the past 8 years, parts of this have been rolled out, a little at a time. Previous phases have included a standardized point of sale system, a new flat place license system, and disabled placard improvements. The upcoming rollout is to try to finalize what has been going on for 8 years, and we don't want to go on for another 4 to 6. Once in place and once services resume, Kentuckians will be able to choose from more than 20 special license plate designs that promote our nonprofits. So to minimize the potential issues, because we got to move millions of records, and it's really hard to move records just one little piece at a time. Online vehicle registration renewal and all services utilizing Avis and clerk offices will stop starting Monday, January 1st, though remember with the holidays, that might be like a December 29th because they'll be closed. Starting the following Monday, January 8th, services will gradually resume and clerks will be able to communicate the opening date. They'll have some flexibility in that with each office. The gradual reopening is advised to allow for adequate technical assistance and support from KYTC. Anytime you're going to move systems, it's not an easy process, but when we look at how antiquated our UI system got, the need to make this move is here. We'll get through it. It's never great to have to shut down services for, say, a week at a time, but we want to get this thing done. Well, so we believe that services will be gradually coming online at that period of time. It'll be up to each clerk with the technical advice they've gotten and if they believe that they are ready. We want that to be a collaborative process. Sarah.
Good afternoon. Election reps have shown that you would have won 50 state house seats, and 18 state senate seats. What do you make of that, and what do you think the Democratic Party should make of that?
Well, I'm grateful to have been reelected the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Grateful that we saw Democrats, Republicans, and independents all coming out to show their support on different levels. Grateful that we saw a map that showed support all over Kentucky, and I think people wanting us to stop the partisan bickering and to move forward together. They want to see results in a better life. I think we also saw results that show people are optimistic about where we're going, that we're hopeful in a really pessimistic society where our country has gotten. They believe what's happening right now in Kentucky is exciting and it's going to create better lives for us. I think you also saw a rejection of anger politics, a very clear statement by voters that they want people to run for something and not against someone, not to pick on groups of people, not to put violent imagery on TV. I think you see where the most of that was put on. Was where we had our highest vote totals and where we saw a number of counties switch. I just hope that's a guide to campaigns in the future that we shouldn't be engaging in the politics of hate and anger. We should be engaging in the comparison of ideas. And I think you saw from voters that that's what they're looking for. I think that means moving forward, that voters are going to be more open in elections to looking at the ideas of individual candidates. We get caught up a lot in parties. Every campaign is driven by a candidate, their personal ideology. They will be a part of a party and share certain views with maybe the state or national platform for that. But every individual is different. And I think how these next elections will go will depend on the quality of candidates. Now, there'll also be a presidential election. And that's obviously going to have major impacts because that nationalizes what should be community level campaigns. When you think about electing a state representative or state senator, I mean, you're thinking about a certain group of people and areas that you want to move ahead, right? What are the new job opportunities you want to see? Do you have a clinic? And are you able to access healthcare in your community? How is your infrastructure? You want to send people that'll fight for those things. I've been thinking a lot about how when people wake up in the morning, they're not thinking about the next presidential race. They're not thinking about the next state legislature races. They're thinking about the job they're going to work that day, the safety of the road they're going to drive, the quality of their kids' schools. And yes, I'll be involved in different politics moving forward, but that's my focus, to make sure that I am continuing to try to improve people's lives and the things they think about when they first wake up and when they go to bed at night. Austin.
Thank you, Governor. 2 questions for you. The transition period for DJJ. I'm wondering what's next for that department. Is it stay the course in terms of improvements that have already been made, or big sweeping change? And then the second question is about Jim Gray. Is it your understanding that he's going to stay on for the next term? Obviously, we can't predict.
Yeah, I certainly hope Jim Gray's staying on. He is an incredible member of this administration. He's the inaugural chair. So I think that's a good sign for us. And of course, my late friend Tommy Elliott's going to be our honorary inaugural chair who headed it last time. I think we've got a good roadmap for DJJ. I believe that if we continue to work the plan in coordination with the General Assembly, that we are already at a better place and we are getting to a better place. The most important, well, there's so many important. One of the most important changes we made were significant raises. And they are working, but it does take time, and they haven't worked the same speed everywhere. So you're going to see some news on Campbell County that's coming out. We think we're getting to a staffing point where we're going to be able to accept more individuals in that facility. Remember, we've got to get to a safe number of employees in each of these regions for each of these facilities for them to work and to work safely. We've got funding for Jefferson County facility that we've got to bring online. I want to continue to have conversations with the legislature about the concerns about housing boys and girls in the same facilities, as well as low-level and higher-level offenders. As we try to learn lessons, we should remember that Adair was one of our most secure facilities, and we still saw major challenges there. So I hope these conversations are ongoing. I hope that legislators will continue to have an open mind as we work through them. We certainly will too. In the end, we all want these facilities to be safe. We want these individuals to get the best services they can. And we have to recognize, though, that they serve widely different populations. There is a big difference between the youth that is awaiting murder charges and doesn't see a future, and that disruption is not a concern for them, or even if caused by them, and that individual that should hopefully be in for a shorter period of time, that we need to make sure gets all those services with the best chance toward rehabilitation. Of course, this is just one part of DJJ. I think a lot of the other parts are working really well, and how they work in with corrections is really important too. There is a really incredible story going on with corrections and recidivism. Right now, having the lowest recidivism rate in our history, we need to make sure that comes to DJJ as well. That's been a lot of job training, education. A lot of that's come from outside the administration, like K-State coming with an opportunity to some of our prisons. It's also better reentry services than ever before, with second chance employers lining up. You're going to see us do more of that in this next administration, because we want to prevent a crime from ever happening in the beginning. But if we can prevent somebody coming out of a jail or a prison from ever recommitting again, we will continue to reduce crime and violent crime. All right, on the line we have Lucas from the Courier-Journal.
Thanks. Yeah, you mentioned conversations with legislators. With another term secured just a week ago, have you had any conversations with legislators in that time about the upcoming session? Anything in particular you're hoping they act on? Just what have some of these preliminary conversations been like, if you've had them?
We're going to be having a number of conversations going forward. I admittedly took 3 or 4 days off because I was exhausted after that campaign, and more than a little sick once the adrenaline starts wearing off. I wanted to spend some time with my kids that I had not seen enough. I want to spend time with my wife. I want to spend some time with that dog too. So I look forward as we move forward. One thing we're working on and reaching out right now is, again, you hear the rhetoric, but in the last budget session, while the House went ahead and for the first time ever submitted an executive branch budget before the governors, and we think that's the first time that's happened in the United States, the Senate, we met with 3 or 4 times, hour-plus meetings, going through every single part of our proposed budget. We're already reaching out for those times. And remember, with a lot of what's on our agenda, it's included in that budget. I have seen some positive quotes on sitting down and talking about teacher pay. We need to sit down and have some really frank conversations about universal pre-K and daycare and the different asks that are coming in and how we move forward. But none of these things are D or R or are red or blue. And hopefully now, where nothing's a win or a loss for me. I can't run for this job again. We can just focus on what are wins for Kentucky. Excited about the opportunity to continue some relationships. And again, I just say, watch for the results, not necessarily what the quotes that'll come out will be. Campaigns are hard, and they take some time after it for everybody to be rowing in the same direction. But my commitment is I'm going to continue to be an adult. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm going to continue to try to operate in a way that makes people proud. And I hope with some of the stuff that we've seen in DC the last couple of days, that some out there will calm down some of the rhetoric. I mean, we saw a U.S. senator challenge somebody to a fight in a committee meeting. We saw another exchange shouting between two folks in Congress. That's the type of stuff that gets most Kentuckians fired at work. And so we ought to be doing better. We ought to be acting better. And while we can't control what's going on in D.C., we can certainly control ourselves and what's going on in Frankfurt, to not get personal, to not get nasty. There's no reason for it. It makes the work environment that much more difficult, and it sets a really bad example for our kids. I mean, we're going to have KYA coming in here really soon, where our youth come in. They don't do any of that, right? They don't do any of it. These high schoolers, they'll debate, they'll have really strong arguments, and then at the end of the day, they'll vote and they'll move on to the next bill or the next opportunity. There's something there that should set an example for us, and it also means that we ought to be setting a better example for them. Certainly, across our country, we got to push out the toxicity, the divisiveness. People are exhausted about the constant back and forth, and I'm not going to be a part of it. I got into this because my kids deserve a better world and a better functioning government, and I'm going to do my part to make that happen. All right, we went a little long today. We almost did a full hour Team Kentucky update. We'll work on making the next one shorter. Next week is Thanksgiving. There will be no Team Kentucky update on Thanksgiving. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Let's remember to cherish it after we've had some years where it was more challenging. Spend time with your family and your loved ones. We never know how much time we have on this earth, and enjoy all the good food. Thank y'all.